When I was 21, it was just kind of, everything was going real fast paced and upbeat. I decided, that I was going to chase the dream of being a professional motocrosser. And so me and my brother and one of my buddies, we decided to go ride at a local track. It was a perfect day. It was nice, sandy, loamy soil, just enough water on the dirt and everything. They had it tilled up real deep. And then I'd kind of got this one section I started to focus on that was like a long section of whoops and then a jump into a turn. And then right off the face of that jump, the bike locked up. And that was pretty much from the moment everything changed. It was so hot that day being in Texas. I think it was probably close to the hundreds. I was laying on my side and I was laying there and all of a sudden I caught my breath, and then that was when it kind of all hit me like, man, I cannot feel my legs right now. When the doctors came in and told me that, I was paralyzed T4 level, Asia A, which means like I can't feel, like basically from chest up is normal feeling, and from chest down, like if you stuck me with a knife or swabbed me with a toothbrush, I couldn't tell you the difference. I couldn't even tell you, where, if you did it on this side or on this side, from there down. I mean, so, and it being at like that level and that all that just basically just means kind of there's no hope. The first probably 3 years of my accident slowed me down a lot, and it was kind of, I did a lot of soul searching, was kind of having to figure out, am I gonna have to change who I am and how I'm gonna be to be able to live this, to live like this? Because it's just like, I like to go, and everything, and that's why I dived into the therapy so hard for the first 3 years trying to figure out something to do. And then I got approached by the research team, and they asked me, hey, do you want to go through the screening to see if you qualify to go through, the next phase of our research we have going on. They did all the 6 screens and everything, and they're like, all right, do you qualify for the next phase of this? And that's getting the epidural stimulator. And they told me about it, and told me, just think about it and let us know. And I was trying to figure all that out, if I wanted to stay here. And I'd missed all my friends back home, and I wasn't working. I was just doing therapy. That was all I was doing. And I remember all that going through my head, like, what am I gonna do? And then I remember just sitting across from Susie, and I asked her, I was like, do you think this thing's gonna work? And she's like, well, I don't know, because we've only put it in one other person. I can't tell you that it's gonna work, and and you know that. And I was like, I know. I was like, and I mean, from what I'd been told from doctors and things before, there wasn't a chance of anything I could get, that they'd put in me that was gonna let me move again, or that was gonna give me any of that back. And I asked her, I was like, well, am I gonna keep my muscle mass? Because I can't lose my muscle mass because I'm a real active guy, and I know if I keep my muscle mass, then I'll still be able to do those active things. You won't have to worry about skin issues and things like that. And I remember her looking at me, she's like, I think you'll keep your muscle mass, I think. And I was like, all right then, well, let's do this. We started with standing with the stimulator, and I'd done some tests where kind of turned it on and I could feel some things. And I think it was we did about, I don't know, probably 10 sessions in where people were kind of holding my legs and holding my hips, and I was standing with the stimulator on, and it was like, well, I could tell it felt different than, standing before when I was without that on and people holding me, because it's like when you're standing like that, it's like people never can get your hips in the right place, and like, or they got your knees too far back. It's just always awkward feeling. And after probably the first couple sessions of doing it, it got to where I wasn't holding myself with my arms, I wasn't holding my hips up, like my muscles and everything were holding my hips. And man, when I was basically just standing with one hand just on the standing frame, just as balance. Like I wasn't having to grip it or anything, just kind of put my hands up there as balance. And I mean, it was just like that, it really like kind of just it was like I kind of found a part of myself that I thought had been taken from me at that, from the accident. It was like I got it back. It was just, it's hard for someone to grasp what it's like to stand on your own, and unless you know what it's like to have that taken from you, like something so simple as standing. And I've noticed that it's made a huge difference for me being able to get up and stand every morning. I stand about an hour before work, and I mean, it just, I get that same feeling every time where it's just like, it makes me smile, and it's just, it's really crazy. I mean, it's crazy all the positive stuff that comes through my head when I'm standing. I don't know, ever since I got the stimulator, like I don't feel broken anymore, like I feel, it kind of just gave me that whole feeling. where I just feel like I'm me again. It's made me realize, I mean, really, you don't have to walk. The thing is you need to be able to have your body. You got to have your body to be able to like stay healthy with you. And with the stimulator, it's done that for me. I mean, it's really got my body back to where it acts like how it acted before. I mean, my parents get mad at me about this, but I go out and have fun on the weekends like a 26-year-old bachelor does. You know, I go out and on rides with all my buddies. We go ride all day and do all that stuff and go camping and outside, and you know, and I don't have to have I don't take any medications or anything. I've got my legs. I mean, I'd say they look pretty close to how they used to look. I mean, they might be a small difference, but it's funny. I get people who ask me like, "Why are you sitting in that chair?" I'm like, I mean, I'm not just playing in it. Well, with your legs. And it's like, that's a whole nother story.